given there are 32 other countries around the world using nuclear energy as part of their energy mix, if Labor's resorting to referencing an outdated Simpsons episode, isn't this juvenile and actually irresponsible and false?
Well, it is juvenile. We can still find juvenile funny, and hello to Pauline Hanson and Robert Irwin, who are battling out their own issues in this space at the moment. But we also know, don't we, that of the top 20 economies worldwide, Australia is the only one not involved. We also know it is emissions-free, and we know how important that is to Australians. I wonder, Sharri, has Labor made a big mistake here? We know that the coalition's fortunes, and also in particular Peter Dutton's fortunes, have been on the rise, and we've known this announcement was coming for some time. But despite that, the polls heading in the right direction for Dutton and the coalition. He's been bold. Have Labor backed the wrong horse here by going all out on the scare campaign? Would they not be better off trying to put their counterfacts? I don't think Australians are as opposed as what federal Labor are trying to tell us. And as we know, Dutton stands for something. We know what he stands for. It's bold, it's conviction, and he's prepared to put it to the people at the next federal election. And if Labor have called it wrong, they may pay the ultimate price. Yeah,
that's a really interesting take, because the common view is that it's Peter Dutton who's taken the greatest political risk here. But Basil, you mentioned the PM going all in, attacking Dutton. Well, let's have a look at some of what he had to say today.
This is just a fantasy. Instead of Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, this is Peter Dutton and the 7 nuclear reactors.
So, Cameron, I mean, the Prime Minister's really attacking Dutton over this. So what do you think on this question of political risk?
Well, I was thinking about the fairy tale where Anthony Albanese's Pinocchio. I think that's quite funny too. But look, seriously, Labor's got a challenge. Both Peter Dutton and Anthony Albanese have a plan to be net zero by 2050. Anthony Albanese's plan is massive cost of transition, huge smashing power bills from here for the next 25 years, or proven reliable technology the rest of the world uses with nuclear power. That's Peter Dutton's plan. So Peter Dutton can actually keep power prices down now and still meet net zero by 2050. Anthony Albanese can't do that. Peter Dutton's plan is made in the US, France and Germany. Albo's energy transition plan is made in China. That's the difference. And that
I think, Sharri, too, the other thing worth considering, we know how much the Labor government have liked to throw back at the coalition the no-alition tag, always being negative, always criticising, not giving opportunities a chance to breathe and see what people think. Well, that's what they're doing here with nuclear. So I think Dutton has played this very, very well. Ultimately, he's going to live and die by taking this policy forward in such a big way at the next federal election. But he's not a mug. He's thought it through. He's been very clear on his convictions, and he seems very confident, shoulders pinned back, making these announcements. And suddenly, the emphasis is back on Labor to see their response. And so far, they're throwing up Snow White and the 7 Dwarves sorts of responses, which doesn't cover them in glory, I don't think.
Yeah, and I think also when you see people like Chris Bowen stand up and say that Peter Dutton's selling a scam, well, the problem is that Chris Bowen's credibility is so smashed to smithereens that are you going to believe Chris Bowen or Peter Dutton? And ultimately, it does come down to a question of trust. Cameron, don't tell me you're going to try to stick up for Chris Bowen over here.
Oh, no, I think Chris is actually a visionary. I think he's actually done really well to put his ideas forward, just like Peter Dutton has. He's actually got the courage of conviction, which is something sadly lacking and missing in the Prime Minister.
All right. Cameron Milner, Basil Zempilas, great to see you both, as always, on a Thursday. Thank you.